Hello, everybody, and welcome to the inaugural voyage of the Copilot Compass. I'm Grant Stalley, and I'm thrilled to have you joining us on this exciting journey. If you're here for a specific topic or use case, feel free to use the chapters to quickly navigate to the material you are seeking. As always, I have the pleasure of being joined by my esteemed colleague, fellow Copilot enthusiast, and resident smart guy, Logan.
Thanks, Grant. Happy to be here.
Awesome. And Logan, why don't you tell the people a little bit more about what they can expect from the Copilot Compass?
Yeah, we're a weekly podcast with new episodes dropping each Wednesday on YouTube and Spotify. So make sure you subscribe on your platform of choice so you never miss an episode. Each week, we'll explore the incredible world of Microsoft 365 Copilot and how it can transform the way we work, collaborate, and innovate. We'll share tips, tricks, and use cases that are relevant across organizations and industries, with a special focus on operations and non-technical users.
Thanks, Logan. Couldn't have said it better myself, which is why I had you say it.
Hmm.
All right, so now that we've laid a foundation for our weekly episodes, tell the folks a little bit more about what they can expect in today's episode.
Yeah, so let's talk about Teams meetings with Copilot. I know it's one of our first use cases, so it seems like a good place to start.
I love it. And I think it's not only made our pre and post meeting activities more efficient, but it's also allowed us to be more collaborative, and it's created new value that we haven't seen before. So where do you think we should start?
Yeah, I think the pre-meeting process is a good place to start.
Awesome. Let's do it. One of my favorite use cases, not only in saving time preparing for the meetings, but to do new tasks and collaborate in ways better than we ever have before. Let's start out with something that our audience, I'm sure, can relate to, the email thread that's turned into a meeting. All right, so here's a perfect example. We've got an email thread here that was kicked off by our colleague, Joanna. In this mock scenario here, we're preparing for a quarterly business review or QBR with one of our clients located in Chicago. Our team is virtual, and so we are globally dispersed. So Joanna's asked a few questions to get this started. She's asked us, when is everybody available to travel to Chicago? She's asked for preferences for, hotel accommodations, as well as, suggestions for a social dinner with the client the night that we'll be there. And lastly, and most importantly, she's asked for us to start working on a potential agenda for this quarterly business review. Now, Joe started this email thread innocently enough with just a couple of us, but folks have added in new folks to maybe chime in on the agenda, or maybe we have somebody that's going to be responsible for booking the accommodations that's been added into the thread. We also have the folks that have maybe read the email on their phone, didn't read the whole thing, and so they've only replied answering one of the questions and not the entire gauntlet. So what we've decided to do is this email thread is going to turn itself into a meeting. Now, again, with Outlook and Copilot, I need to be using the new Outlook in order to access Microsoft 365 Copilot. Now, since I'm using that new Outlook and I am properly licensed, I have this Schedule with Copilot icon here. So I'll go ahead and select that now. And what it's going to pop up with is an Outlook calendar invite. It's going to throw everybody that's in this email thread into the required list of attendees. The title of the meeting has been put in as the title of the email thread. And what you can see here is it is added as an attachment, that email thread itself, but it's also proposed for us an agenda and provided a quick summary for anybody that maybe hasn't been completely caught up or hasn't even read that email thread. Now, this text is not editable, and you can't provide it the coaching points like you would in, let's say, Word. So what I'm going to do is I can go ahead and just click insert, take it at its word, and then I can manually make changes here, minor revisions to the agenda if I want, per se. You could certainly still use Copilot coaching by copying and pasting this text into either business chat or into Word itself, and then provide those coaching points using Copilot like you might already be doing. But again, if it's minor revisions, I can just make those manually myself here. The other thing that you're going to see is that Copilot has selected the nearest available time slot in which all attendees are available. Now, at our organization, we try to give folks at least a 24-hour heads up when we can for meeting scheduling. So I don't want to necessarily schedule a call that's going to be coming up just later this afternoon. I can still use Scheduling Assistant like I normally would for meetings. That's still available for me with this invite. So once I've picked a time that works for everybody, I've given folks an adequate amount of heads up, I've changed my agenda and taken a look at the summary to make sure it's accurate. I'm going to go ahead and click this send button and send out this invite. Okay, so we've talked about how you can use Copilot to schedule a meeting. Let's talk about two key scenarios for preparing for meetings. First one here, to sort of lay the groundwork or the foundation here. I've been in back-to-back meetings for the last several hours, and I haven't had time to prepare for my next meeting. And in fact, I don't even remember what my next meeting is. So instead of having to go the old school way and navigate into Outlook, find the calendar invite, get caught up on those topics manually, and I just don't have the time for that, I can use Copilot. Now, we are a big Microsoft Teams shop, so accessing it through Teams is a great, quick and easy way for me to do that and engage with Copilot. What I can see here is there's two options at the top. So I see work and web. If I select web, it's just going to draw responses and info from publicly available data. And if I select work, this is going to draw from our Office tenant and the resources and material that I already have access to at the organization. Since I know my next call is a work-related call and I'm using it through Outlook, I'm going to go ahead and have this work tile selected as I already have, and I'm going to ask it a simple enough question: help me prepare for my next meeting. Now, it's going to think for a moment, and then it's going to give me a few key pieces of information. It's going to show me what the meeting topic is. I can see that highlighted here in blue, and it tells me that it is scheduled for today, 1:15 to 1:45. So I can see that key info here. It's got an agenda provided for me. I can see the agenda, what was listed in the call or in the meeting invite. It's going to show me a summary of what's already been discussed so far, and then it's going to show the attendees down here at the bottom. It's going to reference the fact that, okay, this meeting was started through an email thread. And so it's going to reference that email thread, and I can see down here a few different resources available for me. One is the actual Outlook calendar invite itself. So I can just select this and navigate right to that meeting. And I no longer have to go to Outlook or click on the calendar icon here. I can go straight from my Copilot prompting. I can also reference the material that it's referring to here in this description and summary by quickly selecting this and going right to the source. All right, so this is one way to prepare for a meeting. Let's show us another way that we can be more collaborative as teams. Okay, another scenario where Copilot can be helpful pre-meeting is helping us actually plan and organize the meeting itself. So in this scenario, I'm pretending that we have an upcoming meeting with a new customer, and we're going to talk to them about our Copilot enablement workshop offering. So I'm right back here in Copilot. Again, I'm using it in Teams because it's easy for me. I'm using Teams on a regular basis. Easy way for me to access Copilot. And so what I'm going to do is ask a simple question: provide me an agenda for a meeting with a new customer in the retail sporting goods industry. We want to talk to them, I could type, about our Copilot enablement workshop. And I will click enter here, and it's going to go ahead and start preparing some material for me. So it's going to spit out some information here. So it's got a proposed agenda. It's a good starting place. I'm never going to just take Copilot at its word and use this material as is. I'm going to review it. I'm going to edit it. And I probably want, this is a big customer for us, so I'm going to want multiple folks involved. So what I can do with this is where collaboration really comes into play here. I'm going to edit in Pages. So this simple icon down here to get me started. I will select this edit in Pages. For those of you maybe not familiar with Pages, you can think of this as a hyper collaborative OneNote. And what it's going to do is take this material that Copilot has already produced for me and put it into this page format. The title of the page is going to be by default the question that you've asked Copilot. So let's say, just to use as an example here, let's say this meeting is going to be with Dick's Sporting Goods. So I'm going to say prep for Dick's Sporting Goods meeting. And now, since I want to collaborate on this, I am going to go ahead and share this out. I have a couple of options here. I can share the page link. I can share a component. In this case, I'm going to go ahead and share this link out, and I am going to invite some of my colleagues to help contribute to this. So I will copy this link out, send it over to those folks that I need help with, give them a little bit of background, let them know what I need from them as far as their own updates to this material go. And there we have it. So I've given access to my colleagues now. I'm going to go back in and kind of continue my own preparations here. One thing that I'm going to want here is this is a new client. I want a little bit of background info on them. Previous to Copilot, we'd have to go, search through their LinkedIn account, the company website, pull this information. Man, it's a very time-consuming process. So instead, now with Copilot, I can use it to draw some of that info in for us. So what I will ask it is, I'm going to ask it for tell me, or give me a background rather, background on Dick's Sporting Goods. And I want to include executive leadership overview, background, history, and current initiatives. Now, while I was busy typing, you may have noticed there's a little icon that's popped up here, and Logan has already gotten access to it. He's received my request to add in the date and time for the meeting. Those were left blank with Copilot. Logan has already had this meeting on the book, so he's gone ahead and added in that information. Next, what I've done here is I've asked it that question, give me an overview of the leadership, some background on the company and their current initiatives. I've got that info here now, and I can just simply add this into my pages. I can copy this material and paste it over. I can edit in pages. For the sake of simplicity here, I will go ahead and click this copy button, and I'm going to add it right here at the top. I'll replace this quick response from Copilot, and there I go. Now, some of this, again, we want to make sure that we validate what's in here. We don't want to go in front of leadership at Dick's Sporting Goods with out-of-date or stalled information. So let's take, for example, this current initiatives. Now, I want my account manager. In this case, it'll be Logan for the sake of the demo. And I'm going to say, add a comment here for Logan. I'm going to say, Logan, can you validate this list? And are there any other current initiatives that we should be aware of? Very helpful tip here too. It will autocorrect for me as I go. Great for those of us that are not excellent typers. And I'm going to go ahead and click send. So now Logan will receive a notice on this. He'll get this comment. Now, thankfully, he happens to be online at this point, so he's going to be able to quickly come in and add in his own comments. But more than likely, you're going to have this kind of happen offline. And when you revisit it, you will see those coming across there. But this is a really great tool for us to collaborate as a team to help us jointly prepare. It's no longer one person responsible for setting out like a pre-meeting briefing or anything like that. It becomes a collective effort where we can bring in all the different subject matter expertise of the organization. So now I can see while I've been talking here, Logan has gone ahead and added in his comment. Let me take a quick look. He says, yes, these are current. There are a few more I will add this afternoon. Great. Now we're prepared. So this is a really good use case, a really great way for us to collaborate pre-meeting and make sure that we're walking in, fully armed and loaded for our next meeting. Okay, so we've talked so far about 3 good use cases for pre-meeting and meeting preparation using Copilot. And again, Copilot can really supercharge your in-meeting experience itself, but that's a longer form topic. We're going to save that one for a future episode of the Copilot Compass to give it its due diligence as far as time goes. But I do want to share with you one more use case here, and that is the post-meeting experience. I think we've all been there where we've, had a meeting that was very busy. Maybe we had a very active part in it. We've taken down a few rough notes and then gone to several other meetings or other tasks that were higher priorities. And now it's the end of the day. You're getting ready to try to send out that post-meeting follow-up, and you can't really figure out what your notes say. They don't make much sense. And it's, you've had so much going on that you can't really remember exactly what was discussed and agreed upon in that meeting. But have no fear. AI is here to help you. So with Copilot, what we can do is have it provide some of those tasks that you used to have to do manually or out of memory. So for the sake of this demo, I'm going to navigate to a meeting that has already occurred, and I am going to take a look at that. One thing we should note here is that, it is only available if you have at a minimum transcription turned on for your meeting, which we did in this particular case. Now I've opened up the invite itself or the calendar from Teams, and I can see that there is a view recap option here. So that's where I'm going to get myself started. Lots of info for us here. It's available for us. We've got the access to the stream here. So long as you already have access to it, you can click on it, open it up, and watch the whole recording if you want. You can see down here some basically who speaks the most here. And in this particular case, I think my takeaway is, boy, I probably spoke too much. A lot of me in here. I can navigate to the specific sections of that call where if maybe I wanted to see what Joanna had to say, I can click here and navigate to that. But that's not what we're here to demo today. We're going to take a look at the summary functionality. So it's provided some meeting notes for us based on that transcription. So it's going to cover each topic here in sort of a bullet or arrow format. And the most important one here, those follow-up and action items. So it's captured those for us. It's got in bold that high-level overview, a little bit more descriptive sort of subtext, if you will, there. And then in parentheses, you will see the person or group of people that were tagged, by Copilot for those action items. This has great integration with Planner if I want to track these a little bit more formally. But more commonly, you're probably going to copy and paste all of this info into an email follow-up as sort of that post-meeting. Make sure we all remember what was agreed upon there and we all have a clear understanding of the action items. So I can do that through here. It's also got at mentions for me here, so it can point out where did people call me out in particular in the meeting if I wanted to maybe remember, okay, what was that question that came to me? And of course, I can use Copilot in here similar to the way that I would use it in meetings. So I can ask it questions. I can say here if I want to just, maybe I don't want to read through this whole summary and try to scroll through and see what was discussed, what was the action items for me. And I might just say, were there any action items for me? And Copilot will scroll through those notes, scroll through that transcript, and provide me with a response to that inquiry. And it says, yes, there are a few action items assigned to me. I've got to schedule a follow-up meeting. I've got to come up with a proposal for this happy hour trivia that we're discussing, including some of the criteria, guidelines, and budget needed. Great. I can also ask it certain things of, were people rude during the call? And was anybody unprofessional? Those types of things. And it will do its best, to help you respond to those types of inquiries. So again, a great use case post-meeting really can help with the sort of summary and follow-ups that you might provide to attendees, can really help you capture those action items to make sure that whatever the important topics that were discussed, it wasn't left in that meeting, that information continues to be documented and hopefully moving forward for the betterment of the organization. In our maiden journey of the Copilot Compass, we talked about how Copilot can supercharge your pre- and post-meeting experiences with Teams use cases. We talked about easier scheduling of meetings with Copilot with agendas, briefings, and calendar invites. We talked about how business chat can help you quickly get up to speed and prepare for your next meeting. And we also talked about how business chat and notes can be combined and work together to help teams collaborate and ensure that the entire team is aligned and informed going into your next key client call or stakeholder meeting. We wrapped up our expedition by showcasing how Copilot provides intelligent meeting recaps with action items, making sure that what you've discussed in your call is actually taken forward into real action.
Yeah, we hope you found some of the use cases helpful and will allow you to operate more efficiently and think more creatively. So please do us a favor and subscribe, like, and comment, and let us know where you'd like to sail next. We also have a Q&A session in the future, so please provide us with questions you'd like to see solved in our next episode by commenting on this video or sending us an email at copilot@ilink-systems.com. New episodes are released weekly, and stay tuned to get a sneak preview of what we'll cover in our upcoming episodes.
Thanks again for joining us, and we'll see you again next week.